Yosemite, California. I'm Chris Conti.
Chris, thank you. And that will do it for us today. I'm Chris Stewart. Denver 7 News at 5 starts right now.
A historic confirmation hearing underway. Supreme Court nominee Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson delivers her opening remarks.
It is extremely humbling to be considered for Justice Breyer's seat, but if confirmed, I would hope to carry on his spirit.
Charges dismissed. Denver's DA declines to prosecute an unlicensed security guard who shot and killed another man during a rally.
Never forget, Lee's life mattered.
And as property taxes soar, Colorado lawmakers hope to put a limit on how much homeowners would owe.
Prices have almost never increased this rapidly in the time for which we have data.
But first tonight, a large stretch of I-70 is shut down out east from Lyman to the Kansas border due to dangerous road conditions. These were the conditions earlier on this afternoon.
And this is a look at current conditions. This is near Lyman right now. Apparently no one is going to Lyman right now. CDOT has not said when that stretch of I-70 would reopen. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us at 5. I'm Ann Trujillo.
And I'm Jason Grenauer. Here in Denver, we got just a small dusting earlier on this morning. Here to tell us a little bit more about current conditions is Katie LaSalle.
Hey, Katie. Hi, you guys. Just about a half of an inch for the Denver area earlier today, but out east over the plains, you can see that snow falling. Lyman out through Burlington, some near whiteout conditions, very strong winds. So that is why they have shut down that stretch of I-70 out to the east with the heavy snow still falling. Also down south and portions of southeastern Colorado will continue to see very strong winds and snow off and on for the next few hours. Here for the metro area, it's mostly cloudy skies, still some light to moderate snowfall falling from Estes Park down through Idaho Springs. Now here's a live look. It's the Sangre de Cristo range down south to New Mexico border. It is snowing and will continue to do so here for the next little while. But here for the Denver area, it's going to be partly to mostly cloudy skies tonight and some very chilly temperatures. Outside right now, we're at 40 degrees, but it feels like we're only in the upper 20s with northeast winds sustained at 25 miles per hour. And your weather headlines on this Monday, the snow will continue out east through tonight. Tomorrow, we have another round of seeing snow showers for the Denver area. Windy and chilly for Tuesday afternoon, and then a really nice warm up in store for the end of the week. I'll take you through the extended forecast still to come.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. Tonight, Matthew Doloff is officially a free man. Doloff killed Lee Keltner during a rally in October of 2020. Doloff was providing security for a 9 News crew at the time. And today, a judge dropped the murder charge and dismissed the case at the request of prosecutors.
Denver 7's Patrick Perez was there and joins us live. Patrick, definitely an emotional day for Lee Keltner's family who attended that hearing.
Yeah, Jason, Keltner's family, friends, and supporters were at the courthouse today rallying against this decision to dismiss the case. The family was even more upset after learning Keltner's sister, Susan, could not read a victim impact statement during the hearing. Doloff's attorneys had no interest in it.
Any objection?
It's without objection.
And just like that, a district judge dismissed 32-year-old Matthew Doloff's criminal case and the second-degree murder charge against him. The decision was at the request of prosecutors.
It's apparent to us and to myself that we can't prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. And specifically, we would be unable to disprove the affirmative defense of self-defense and defense of others. So I'm asking the court to dismiss this case without prejudice.
Doloff is accused of killing Lee Keltner during an altercation near Civic Center Park in Denver in October 2020. As competing rallies were ending, Keltner and Doloff, who was working as security for 9 News, got into an altercation. Police said Keltner first slapped Doloff's face, and then as Keltner was firing his pepper spray, Doloff fired a bullet, killing him. Keltner's sister, Susan, says she never imagined the DA would dismiss the case against Doloff.
It's the state's job to deliver justice, to do good for the family members who have suffered the loss over a heinous act that could have been avoided. Not to add our constant pain with the uncertainty process of the court.
Keltner's family, friends, and supporters gathered outside the courthouse Monday before and after the hearing. They wanted to make sure Keltner's life isn't forgotten.
Lee's life mattered. He's dead now. He can't stand up for himself. He can't see his day in court.
In a statement, Denver DA Beth McCann offered her condolences, but doubled down on her office's decision, saying in part, without provocation, Mr. Keltner verbally threatened and physically assaulted Mr. Doloff and was the initial aggressor before being shot. Under Colorado's law, Matthew Doloff had no duty to retreat and was legally justified in his actions. The Keltner family is now planning to file a civil lawsuit against Doloff, the security company that contracted him, the city and county of Denver, and 9 News. And by the way, Doloff was not licensed to work as a security guard in Denver. We also did not get to hear from him or his attorneys today. They left the courtroom through the chambers out back. We'll keep you updated on when and if that civil suit is filed. Jason.
Our Patrick Perez, thank you so much. Now, a lawsuit accusing Denver police of using excessive force during the George Floyd protests in 2020 is currently being heard in a federal court. The lawsuit seeks unspecified financial damages and asks for a declaration that police violated the constitutional rights of protesters. Lawyers representing the city argue that officers faced unprecedented violence and destruction due to agitators in the crowd. Tomorrow marks a painful day for our community. It will be 1 year since 10 lives were taken at the Table Mesa King Soopers in Boulder.
In remembrance of those killed, that store will stay closed through Wednesday. And right now, people can pay their respects to Officer Eric Talley. His patrol car is on display in front of the Boulder Police Department, along with items that were left by his car last year. And then tomorrow at 2 o'clock, there will be a line of duty death commemoration at the Boulder Police Department. At 2:30, there will be a moment of silence across the city of Boulder and all Colorado King Superstores to remember the 10 lives lost. And then from 4:30 to 6, there will be a day of remembrance gathering at the Glen Huntington Band Shell near the Pearl Street Mall. And Governor Jared Polis will be there along with other local leaders. And Denver 7 will be at tomorrow's remembrance events, and we too will honor the lives lost on air and on the denverchannel.com.
A jetliner carrying 132 people crashed in the mountains in southern China early this morning. Local media is reporting there are no signs of survivors. The Associated Press reports the China Eastern Airlines plane descended more than 20,000 feet in just over a minute before crashing in the mountains. The Boeing 737 had been flying for that airline for more than 6 years. The cause of today's crash is still being investigated. The UN is now reporting more than 900 civilians have been killed since Russia's invasion of Ukraine began. 75 of the dead are children. Nearly 1,500 others have been injured. This week, President Biden will head to Europe for the first time since the invasion. He will first visit Brussels on Wednesday to meet with NATO leaders. He'll then travel to Poland to discuss the refugee crisis. A senior U.S. defense official says Russian forces have made no progress in their advance to Kyiv in more than a week and is crediting Ukrainian forces for their strong resistance.
Today, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson gave her opening statement as the president's pick to fill the vacant seat on the U.S. Supreme Court. Brown Jackson is the first black woman ever considered by the Senate Judiciary Committee to serve on the nation's highest court.
If I am confirmed, I commit to you that I will work productively to support and defend the Constitution and this grand experiment of American democracy that has endured over these past 246 years.
The 51-year-old mother of two is considered the most heavily vetted Supreme Court nominee in 30 years, having been confirmed 3 times before by the full Senate.
It's about time that we have a highly qualified, highly accomplished black woman on the Supreme Court. It's about time our highest court better reflects the country it serves.
And tomorrow, committee senators will begin their first round of questions for Brown Jackson. Also today, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas remains hospitalized in Washington with an infection. The White House says they have no update on his condition and are wishing him a speedy recovery.
Well, it's a seller's market right now as home values keep going up and up and up here in Colorado. But for homeowners, that's not always great news for property taxes.
Denver 7 politics reporter Megan Lopez explains a bipartisan effort to get a question on the November ballot that would cap the amount you can be taxed.
If you own a home, you're probably used to seeing a postcard like this pop up in the mail every year saying how much your house is worth. The home's value is based on how much similar houses in your area have sold for over the past year or two. That value is then used to determine the property taxes you owe. When Coloradans repealed the Gallagher Amendment in 2020, the assessment rate on homes was set at 6.95%, meaning if you have a $400,000 home, you'll only be taxed on $27,800 of it. While that assessment rate is staying put, home values certainly are not.
Prices have almost never increased this rapidly in the time for which we have data.
Craig Lazara is the managing director of S&P Dow Jones Indices. He says the Denver index increased by 20% in 2021.
If you owned a house in Denver at the end of 2020, It's probably worth about 20% more.
So that same $400,000 home's value is now closer to $480,000. And with that same 6.95% assessment rate, you'll be taxed on $33,360 of it.
If you're not selling that property, it's an unrealized gain. So it's not like you have more money in your bank account to pay out in taxes.
That's not good for people who are on fixed incomes like seniors, disabled folks.
So Democratic Representative Alex Valdez and Republican Representative Colin Larson have teamed up to try to slow things down, with a ballot question asking voters to cap the rate of growth of assessment values to 3% or less per year. So once again, using that $400,000 home, even if its value increases by 20%, you'd only be assessed at the rate of $412,000, meaning your assessment rate for taxes would be $28,634.
Right now, the way things are going, wage growth is being way outpaced by the growth in the amount owed on Texas.
Last week, the pair penned an op-ed in the Denver Post explaining their position, saying the idea will help homeowners, businesses, and even renters with those pass-through costs.
The idea is to give people predictability.
They say it's not a tax cut, and it's not going to stop people from selling their homes for fair market value.
All it's affecting is the assessed value.
But the idea will affect schools, fire stations, and others who would have seen all that extra tax money that could have made a big difference for them.
Our first round showed $1.3 billion of impact, which is a scary number.
Still, Larson and Valdez insist with that 3% per year increase.
They'll have more money than they've ever had in history.
First, though, they have to get it on the ballot. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
There's always something that can be done. There's always some way you can help.
Displaying support for Ukraine one homemade flag at a time.
I said, well, we need to do something about that. So I decided that we're going to make flags.
A Denver family is getting creative and needs your help to keep the project going.
You guys are going to the second floor.
South Metro firefighters saved the day and rescue multiple pets from this home in the process. And the current ski season isn't over yet, but the pass wars have already begun.
Just how much an epic pass will set you back.